Hello and welcome back to Praying with Broken Hearts, Spirituality for Difficult Times. I'm Father Joseph, and this is session 8, Praying Our Anger. Anger and sadness that we've just covered kind of go together. They're very powerful emotions. Sadness is that slowing down and possibly crying, an awareness that something is wrong. And anger is a burst of emotion with the sense that something is wrong. It's almost like these emotions are helping us to see something is wrong that maybe we can't quite put our finger on it just yet. It's also an invitation to action with anger because of that influx of energy. We should do something about it. Now, not everyone has received healthy messages around anger. For example, think back to your experience of childhood. How did the adults in your life deal with anger? What did they do when they were angry? What was okay to do when you were angry? Some families are very demonstrative of an emotion like anger. They will shout it and say it, I'm angry, da 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 da. That's one way of dealing with it. Is that the message you received? Other families kind of shut down. Well, one just never expresses anger. You should never express that you are angry. You are just supposed to quietly endure it. Or sometimes just be very passive aggressive about it. And so you can express it and show it, but in very subtle ways that leave the other person having to figure out why you're angry, or that you are angry to begin with. And other families have a healthy way of dealing with anger where you can express, I feel angry because, and it's an invitation to a solution. We all received some kind of message about anger. What was yours? And now think to the most recent time that you have experienced anger. What did you do with it? How did you react? That's some important stuff, so you might pause and kind of jot down some notes. Now, Christianity has not done a really great job of talking about anger. Many people have received a message of, well, you just need to turn the other cheek, as if we should just never feel anger and that we should do nothing about it. The thing is that even Jesus got angry. Many of us could cite the story of Jesus chasing the money changers out of the temple. That was anger. Or Jesus getting angry and frustrated with people for not understanding his mission or what he's saying or his ministry. Jesus got angry and frustrated many times. So that message about turning the other cheek is not about remain completely passive, but perhaps channel it the right way. Turning the other cheek is an invitation to see the humanity of the other person. The person who has just upset me, they are a human being. They are a child of God. And so I have choices when I'm angry of how will I express this? Will I figure out, well, what am I really angry about? Am I really angry with that person? Or am I angry at everything else that's happened today? That's different. Am I angry really with what they've done or said? Or is it bringing up something tender inside my own heart? That's different. Or have they really just done something wrong and I need to tell them? So with anger, we can do a little reflection. It's hard to do in the moment. It takes practice. It takes practice to choose our response. But we can do it. And we can think about, well, what am I really angry about? And in that moment, we're respecting the humanity of the other person. Of course, this also applies to inanimate objects too, because the frying pan that clearly is just going to let everything stick to it clearly has not plotted a vendetta against me, and so I don't need to be angry at the frying pan now, do I? The frying pan is not conspiring against me, so I can acknowledge that I have had a frustrating day maybe, and that I just need to take a breath and relax and not throw that frying pan into the trash. I'm not speaking from any kind of experience whatsoever, okay? One of the reasons why we need to figure out our responses to anger in a more healthy way is because there's also that seed, as I mentioned, that perhaps we're perceiving an injustice. An injustice maybe towards ourselves, or an injustice towards someone else in the world, or towards creation. In that moment, perhaps I'm perceiving that someone isn't treating me like a child of God. They're a child of God. I'm a child of God. Both deserving of respect and love. Or perhaps I see them treating someone else. And so this person who might not be able to speak for themselves, I should be on their side. I can be angry and say, it's not okay to treat this person that way. That's not okay. Or maybe I see a larger issue in the world that I need to stand up and say something. What we do as a healthy response, what we do as a healthy response to this anger will make all the difference. Because if I take that anger and say, well, what can I do with it? Where can I take this energy? And how can I make the world a better place? Do I need to tell the person, you can be angry, you can say, you just can't say things like that to me. Don't treat me like I'm less than a person. That can be a good way of standing up for yourself and honoring that you are a child of God. If we see someone else being hurt, we can say, that's not okay. You can't treat other people like that. That's a good use of anger. We're respecting their humanity, but we're standing up for someone whose humanity is being disrespected, or someone who's being oppressed and hurt. Or if we see some larger issue of injustice, we can say, that's not okay. And we channel our anger into helpful ways, things that build up everyone, that build up us, that build up even the person doing wrong, and build up those who are being hurt. So now think back to your experience with anger. Has this helped maybe to reframe it, to kind of make anger not a scary reality, or something that if you were really spiritual, you would never experience anger? As I said, Jesus got angry. Far be it from me. If Jesus experienced it, I think it's something that we can work with. Now, how does that translate to prayer? Clearly, anger is something that invites self-reflection, asking God to help us to understand our anger, but also translating it to action. We don't think of that as much as we should. When I see something's wrong, by standing up for what is right, I am engaging in almost an act of prayer. I'm trying to help make the world a better place, to be a sign of God's love which does not put up with that kind of dehumanizing behavior, God's love that does not put up with destruction. So think of it that way. You can use it as a time of self-reflection, and you can use it as that boost of energy to do what is right. Hopefully this has helped reframe that understanding of anger. As I said, our culture is not good with anger. Let's use it in healthy ways to build up ourselves and each other. See you next time.